What's poppin', listeners? Today is Free Ride Friday, so make sure you hang on to the end of the episode so you can hear who won this week's free ride to the $100 MBA Training and Community. Every Friday, we give away a lifetime membership to over 180 video lessons, interviews with experts, workbooks, ask questions anytime, our private Facebook group, a whole lot more. It's our way to say thank you for showing us love on iTunes. All you got to do is leave us an iTunes rating and a review, and you enter our weekly random draw. You too can win a free ride. All right, guys, let's jump into today's episode. To the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast that gives you what you need without all the jibber jabber every single day with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. Check out our free guides. We got 5 of them, as well as a 7-part free video course on idea validation over at 100mba.net. In today's lesson, you will learn how to field feedback for changes from customers. When our business starts growing and we start to get a bigger customer base, we're going to start getting a lot of feedback from our customers. Requests for changes, additions, modifications. And this is applicable if you have a piece of software, if you have a course, if you have a service, if you have a restaurant. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's a critic. Now, for the most part, this comes from a good place from your customers. But you can't change your business or make additions every single time somebody requests one. You're never going to stop. It'll never end. And you got other things to do. You have other things to focus on in your business. So how do you field all this feedback for change and make the changes that really matter, that make the difference? That's what we talk about in today's episode. So let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by SumoMe. In about 5 minutes, you can grow your email list faster than ever and get more website traffic than you can ever imagine. No, this is not some sort of magic trick or some internet wizardry. It's SumoMe. We've been using it for 2 years and absolutely love it. It works on every single website, and it's free forever. Just go to this link, 100mba.net/SumoMe. Again, that's 100mba.net/SumoMe. I want to start this lesson by saying that if you're getting feedback from customers, that's good. That means your customers care. That means your customers are actually responding to you, and they are so interested in your software, in your product, in your service, that they want to see it improve. They're going to be there for the long run, so they want to put in their input. Also, if you're getting feedback, that means you have customers, which is a good thing. So be happy about it. But sometimes it can get overwhelming. Sometimes you feel like you got to do so much and that your business, your product has to change so much constantly because you get so much feedback. It almost makes you feel like maybe your product's not that great because it needs to change so much. I implore you not to think that, to relax. It's okay. You're going to get feedback. Some of the biggest companies get the most amount of feedback ever. I mean, look how many product reviews there are for Apple. There's people giving, pluses and minuses. I wish you'd do this. I wish you'd do that. Tesla is another good example. When another new car comes out from Tesla, people say, I love this, I love that, but I wish I had this, I wish I had that. I hope they were going to come out with this thing. Do you think that Elon Musk sits there and takes every piece of feedback and says, we got to make these changes right now? Of course not. He wouldn't be innovative. He wouldn't have the time to build a successful company. Plus the fact that he runs 2 incredibly large and complicated other companies. But the point here is that you have to have a system for fielding feedback. And the best way to do this is to have a set of core principles or promises. I like to call them promises because it's a little bit more direct. And these promises don't have to be many. In fact, the fewer the better. If you can have 1, 2, max 3, then you're good to go. And a promise is like this. Our promise is our product is easy to use. Or our promise is you'll get a return on investment if you learn and implement the things that we teach in this course, for example. Or promises we're an all-in-one solution. You don't have to buy anything else to do whatever we promise that you could do with our product. Have a promise or a couple of promises for your business. Once you have these settled, you got to ask yourself, every time a piece of feedback comes your way, does this feedback serve those promises? They're kind of like goals, right? The goal of the company, what you're trying to do. See, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Having a small business in this day and age with the internet and everything is actually really cool. You can grow, you can be well known, but the only way you can stay competitive is that you actually produce a great, valuable product. That's how you stay competitive, because big enterprise, big, large corporations, sometimes they neglect this. A lot of times they neglect the actual product because there's so much bureaucracy, red tape, and people trying to keep their job. But with small businesses and startups, when you focus on having a great product, that's how you compete in the market. So you do that by having these promises and looking for the feedback or taking in the feedback that serves those promises. So for example, at Webinar Ninja, we get a lot of feedback from users about features they would love, or they see one product that has one feature that they would love to have in Webinar Ninja. And then we have to ask ourselves, does this piece of feedback serve our promises, our goals? If it does, then we double down on it and we make sure we implement it as soon as we can. If it doesn't, it gets shelved. And sometimes it gets scrapped altogether because it doesn't serve what we're trying to do. Now, that doesn't mean that you just, be rude to your customers. You can just reply to the customer, say, hey, thank you so much for the feedback. We really appreciate that you want to see this, get better and serve your needs. We will definitely consider it. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're considering it, seeing if it's going to fit your promises and see if it's possible to implement. Thanks again. Keep the feedback coming. And that's what I like to do. Every time I get a piece of feedback, dump it in a spreadsheet, in a Google Doc, and have a list of feedback. And all you gotta do is highlight the pieces of feedback that are a go, the ones that you're actually gonna implement because they serve the promises that you wanna keep. And I just highlight them green. And those that are not the ones I'm gonna go, and the pieces of feedback that I'm not gonna take on, I just don't highlight them. Then 3-6 months down the road, I look back at those pieces of feedback and say, hey, are any of these pieces, any of these changes that are being requested, can I modify into these changes so they do serve our promises? Now, the reason why I do this is that I have to have a priority system for these pieces of feedback. I got to have like a system of what to do first. So the ones that are green, I just go ahead and do them right away. And those that are not, I have to really think about if it's even possible, if it's something that we want to do, if it's worth our efforts. Remember, there's other things in your business you have to deal with. You have employees, you have hiring, you have sometimes, unfortunately, firing. You have training, you have to deal with sales, marketing, finance, maintaining your business, growing your business. All that stuff is really important. There's a whole lot more. So you got to really get really specific about what you're going to do and what you're not. But bring the feedback in, put them in the spreadsheet, and see what aligns with your promises. Guys, I got more on today's topic, but before that, I got to give a love to today's sponsor, Earth Class Mail. Guys, I want to tell you about Earth Class Mail. It moves your snail mail to the cloud, giving you instant access 24/7. And it integrates with the tools and services you use every day. It's crazy we moved everything we do for business over to the digital world, but we still need to pick up, sort, and manage physical mail. Luckily, there's Earth Class Mail, where you can get all your mail scanned and accessible online 24/7. You can search your mail, you can send invoices over to your accounting software, sync important documents into the cloud storage, deposit checks. And it really just makes running your business a whole lot easier. You also get a real professional address to share publicly with customers, business partners, and investors. And you'll never need to worry about someone showing up to your front door if you run your business from home. Now, I've checked out Earth Class Mail, and I think it's a brilliant solution that's perfect for businesses and independent entrepreneurs of all types. Visit earthclassmail.com/MBA, and you get your first month of service free when you sign up. That's earthclassmail.com/MBA. Guys, to wrap up today's lesson, feedback is important, but staying on track is more important. You have to stay on track. You got to make sure that you take on the feedback that will serve the needs of the company, the business, what you're trying to do with this business. The customer is always right is not always right. Yes, you need to treat your customers with the highest respect, but they're the user, they're not the creator, meaning that they don't really know the ins and outs of the business, how long something takes, or if that actual feature is something that they actually need or aligns with the promises you want to keep. All right, guys, I hope that helps. Today's lesson might be over, but today's episode is not, because it's Free Ride Friday, and I got to give away a lifetime membership to the $100 MBA Training and Community. Let's see who won this week's free ride. And the winner is WebGuy9402. WebGuy says, if this show was a spell in Hogwarts, it would be like the never-ending plate of sandwiches in the second Harry Potter novel. Just when I think I've learned it all, Omar brings more value. I can't disagree more with the review below about this advice is generic. I've been an entrepreneur for 7 years, and this show brings back the fundamentals. Every time I implement one of the suggestions, my revenue increases. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Web Guy, for that awesome testimonial and getting our back. Really appreciate that. But hey, everybody has an opinion. It's all good. But most importantly, welcome to the $100 MBA Training and Community. You have won the free ride this week. Your mission is to email us at support@businessrepublic.net so we can hook you up with the free ride, the free lifetime membership to the $100 MBA Training Community. Guys, every Friday we do this. Just leave us an iTunes rating and review, and you too can win a lifetime membership. All right, guys, that wraps up today's episode. But before I go, I want to leave you with this. Sometimes as our business grows and we get all this feedback, we get defensive. And sometimes we got to be a little bit more clinical about things. We got to be a little bit more emotionally detached. Take in the feedback, just copy and paste it literally and put it on the sheet. Look at your promises, see if it aligns. If it doesn't, don't make it green. Don't do it. And reply to the customer and tell them thank you so much for the feedback. Guys, they took the time to actually email you and tell you about this. So make sure you tell them that you appreciate the time they took to add some feedback, to let you know what they think and what they would like to add to your actual service or business. All right, guys, I hope that helps, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's episode, Q&A Weekends. I'll see you then. Take care.